me and my shadow. And we're gonna get out here and do a hunt today. It's a late start for me. Don't know how long I'll stay. Just kind of depends on how things go out here. I just spotted something right here that looks like a button to me, and I'm gonna bet that that's probably a porcelain button. Yep, it is a porcelain button. That's a really cool find right there. I don't find too many of those on the river. That's something I typically find more often when I'm metal detecting. Not because the metal detector finds them, but the sites I'm on. There's a little flake right there. When I'm out metal detecting, you spot them in little areas where the rain has washed out hillsides or construction sites and that sort of thing. You'll find marbles and buttons and non-metallic objects a lot of the times when you're out metal detecting, just because you're staring at the ground, just like you do when you're arrowhead hunting. Incidentally, I do quite a bit of metal detecting, and I've done it for about 12 years. I want to do a lot more on this channel in metal detecting, but I've done it for so long that I don't have a lot of spots left anymore, and I've kind of fallen out of it as going a whole lot like I used to these last couple years. I feel like it's gotten harder to get out and metal detect and get onto sites and get permissions and stuff. People are less willing to let strangers onto their property. And anyway, I want to do more of that, but I do have some metal detecting videos on this channel, and if that's something that interests you, let me know in the comments, and click on my little videos tab on my channel, and you can go back through and you'll see those videos. They're titled metal detecting, and then with a certain specific title tagged on to it, and you can check those out. I've got a few of them. So today may just be me rambling mostly. I'm just gonna keep searching for right now, but I've been kind of wanting to do just a walk and talk more than my normal amount of rambling, because I've got a lot of stuff I want to ramble about. One thing that I've been wanting to ramble about for ages that I've never done is ask you all, what other types of channels do you like to watch? Do you have any favorite metal detecting channels, bottle hunting channels, arrowhead hunting channels, rock hounding, and even stuff that has nothing to do with like treasure hunting or metal detecting or arrowheads? What are some of those channels? Drop me a comment and let me know. They can be anything. I watch a ton of channels, guys. I watch a ton of channels. Somebody found something out here. And I have a ton of interests. I have a lot of different ideas for things I want to film on my channel, but I just can't place what I want to do yet. But I watch all kinds of stuff out there. Probably several hundred channels that I regularly cycle through and watch of all kinds of different stuff. So yeah, drop me some of the ones you guys like to watch. You know, if you just want to name one, or if you want to name 100, I might check out some of the ones you suggest. But yeah, I'm kind of saying some of this to kind of probe a little bit to see what other interests you guys might have. But I'm gonna start, I've probably said this a dozen times since I started my channel, but I am going to start putting out some different types of, I've got other stuff I want to do, you know, and at the same time I don't want to alienate you guys. Just know that if I put out other material, you know, I'm not forcing you to try to look at it, but I want to build a bigger audience and bring more people in and share some of my other interests I have. And I'm gonna keep doing this, of course, as well, but eventually expect... Oh, I'm sinking. Just like my viewership is sinking on this boring walk and talk video. Alright, sadly I have to report there were no silver or gold coins inside of this little cold cream jar, but it's still a cool find anyway. Shortly after that, I found this guy right here. It's buried under the big W. Can you guys name that movie? This is a pretty cool find. Come across these pretty frequently out here. Don't always film them. You know what that is? That is part of a big one. This is going to be part of a spinal column of something, most likely. Oh, that's big. It's a little bit larger than what I typically find, but it's probably going to be bison related. Again, I am absolutely no expert on this, but a lot of these older bones out here are going to be your buffalo, your bison, that sort of thing. This is a really nice one. This area has been, sometimes it's covered in mud and buried for months on end, and sometimes exposed for months on end. So I'm not going to keep this. I'll send it out where somebody else will see it. I know there's a lot of bone people that like to collect bones. Here, look, somebody else has been piling some up. That's from a bison for sure. This is the part of the spinal column too. This forms their hump. This would have come up probably out to here somewhere, maybe even further. Set this bone here. This area produces a lot of bones. Some of this is just coincidental too, you know, the material gets moved around all over here. That spinal piece could have been from 200 yards upstream. You never know. We're just talking about bones, and that's quite a bone right there. I wear a size 11 or 12 boot. That's humongous. It's a good 4 or 5 inches longer than my foot. Quite hefty too. Somebody split that and probably keep it. I think they're interesting to see and look at. Sometimes it's good to examine them for markings. My untrained eye isn't spotting anything, but I'm not really a bone collector. I find them fascinating, but I've got limited space and they're not my main squeeze anyway. You know what's cool? I had a little comment interaction with Points365 the other day, and he mentioned how you just never know what you're going to find out on the waterways. It's always something interesting. There's always the unexpected. And this is pretty cool because in my last video I found a stone tool that a lot of you said, and I think probably is a digging tool, like a hoe or a spade or something like that. And this is kind of cool because the next time I come out, what did I find? I found a hoe, the digging kind. I don't even know if this showed up in the shot when I was showing you the hoe there, but there's a interesting formation here that's actually still quite soft. And I believe that actually might be wood or clay. It's hard to say, but it's probably very likely will one day become a rock. All right, so I finished walking that whole bar that way. Obviously I'm in the water now. Found this little bone. I'll also show you this. This stuff is out here everywhere. Big old, I call it clay tumbleweeds. Clay gets picked up and tumbled into balls out here. It's everywhere. I could show you, there's hundreds of them. Some of it's huge, some of it's small, but this is perfect clay. This is the type of clay you want for making pottery. It's incredibly malleable. kiln and bake it into any shape you want. It's perfect. There's all sorts of colors and hues. This is more of a brownish red. There's darker reds. There's tans and whites, and there's black. Anything you could possibly want. You could use that as sunscreen or to keep mosquitoes off you, as the American Indians probably did. Well, I actually just stepped on this and I could feel it was something odd. It was in the sand mostly. That's another piece of something's spinal column. A lot of bones out here today. Hoping there might be a skull sticking out somewhere. I'll put this with the rest of the pile. I built up a pretty good pile over there though. Alright guys, this is pretty cool. I've pretty much been searching for several hours since the camera last came on, and I was just making my last couple passes. Really haven't seen anything today, hardly even a flake. And I was on my last pass or two here. The water's come down out in the middle a little bit and exposed a gravel bar, and I kicked what I thought was a piece of seashell sticking out, and it was not seashell. As soon as I saw that it was something, well, all I could see was a notch, and I thought it was just a broken seashell, but I kind of stuck my foot in there and pushed it, and when I did, the notch on the other side showed. So I kind of tried to set it back down the direction it was sitting, but it was covered over with more sand than it is now. So, sorry, I'm afraid. I thought my tripod was about to tip over. Going to the drink with my phone on it. But anyway, it might be a blunt, but it's probably just broken. But when I kicked it, it kind of looked bluntish. Wow. I cannot say that I've ever found anything of this material before. I'm kind of looking at it through a camera screen like you are, so I can't see yet if it's broken. I think it's, yeah, it looks like there's a big fracture right there on top. Wow, is this like, it's almost like a quartz. I have never seen material like that before in my area. That's gonna be super translucent. Oh my gosh. Wow. I'm gonna grab this right now before it falls over. The current's trying to. Let's go over here. Let's set some stuff down. Yeah, buddy. See if we can get a shot of it out in the sky. tip broken off or not, that's one of my favorite finds. That is gem quality material. Boy, that would have been a prize piece for whoever made it, I'm sure. It's got some, it's like marble is what it's like quartz crystal and marble. It's got little striations in it. Oh, I needed that to finish up the day right there. Yes. So once I got this home and it dried out and I got to looking at it in some different light, I think it might be Frisco chert. Now, I don't find a whole lot of that material, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Let me know if you guys think I'm right or wrong on that. If I'm wrong, give me some suggestions if you have any. Anyway, thanks for suffering through that caffeine-fueled rambler of a video.